Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my home and my property up here in Livingston, Montana. Okay, today's date is November 7th of 2023. By the way, my name is Jim, and what I'm doing today is basically I'm in the process of finishing up a project that I started 2.5 years ago. 2.5 years ago. What was that project? That project was to take a bass, something like this, a relatively cheap bass, which is what this is. This is a Squier by Fender, and fix it up to my liking. In other words, modify it so that it fit my needs, so to speak. And why am I doing this? Just to see if I can do it. I am not a professional musician. I don't play in a band. I don't claim anything. I'm not trying to be an influencer here or any of that other kind of stuff. This is just a personal project. As a matter of fact, I've named this my Penny bass. My wife's name is Penny, and I've named this project after her. It's the Penny bass, okay? And to give you an idea, this is to show you the bass before I start working on it. In the next few days, I'll work on it. I'll get these mods done, and then I'll record another clip, okay? But let me show you this. What's going to get changed is that bridge right there. That's going to get changed. These strings right here, they're going to get changed to nylon strings. These pickups right here are going to get changed to DiMarzio Ultra Jazz Bass. This is a jazz bass, by the way. I didn't say that. But DiMarzio Ultra Jazz Bass pickups. This pickup guard right here is going to be changed to an Alpine white pearloid type 4-ply jobber. This control plate right here is going to get changed. All of the potentiometers are going to get changed. In other words, all of these controls right here. I'm putting in much better controls, much stronger controls. Let's see, what else am I going to do to this thing? I'm changing basically everything, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm trying to say on this bass, except for the neck and the body. Other than that, everything gets changed. These tuners right here get changed. These machine heads. I've got a set of Fender vintage 1970 tuners I'm going to be changing. By the way, this is a Classic Vibe 1970s jazz bass is what this is by Squier. Okay, let's see, what else is getting changed? This nut right there, the string nut, is getting changed to a graphite. The one that's on here is a good one. It's a bone, but I'm changing it out to a graphite. Okay, the string nut. Like I say, the fretboard's going to stay the same, except for I'm going to do a fret job, a little polishing job on it. Well, I've got it tore down in the next few days. Oh yeah, another thing that's getting changed, that plate back there is getting changed. Basically, everything on this piece is getting changed, except for, like I say, the body and the neck and the fretboard and that kind of stuff. One thing I've already done is right here, I put on a set of locking strap locks by Ernie Ball. This is the only thing that's been changed so far on this bass. Okay. Now I think I said this, but this bridge is getting changed to a hip shot bridge. And so that's about it. So anyway, I hope you stick around to see how this project goes. Like I say, it's the 7th of November today. Is that correct? Yeah. So I'll be recording again in the next couple of days whenever I'm done. And I'll show you how this turned out. Thank you very much for stepping in here and watching this movie file. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot my most important part of my narration here. And that's this. Come on, let's go. Okay, the very first thing I'm doing in this build is changing the string nut. Right here. Let me get this in focus. Yeah, the old nut is supposed to be a white bone nut. It came out pretty easy. But what I want to draw your attention to is I laid toothpicks in the string grooves right here and put a piece of duct tape over this to hold it down. Because there's no use in putting duct tape over this, because I didn't want it to get contaminated with glue and vice versa, otherwise a heck of a mess. And then this, let me get this in focus here. This string tree right here, I don't have it sucked all the way down. I used to have a silver one on here. This one here is grooved. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll wait till I put the strings on before I suck this all the way down so I can have perfect alignment on both sides there with the strings. So that's all there is to it. This is the first steps on this build. Very well. Sooner or later, I'm going to be pulling that neck off there. And so what I've got going on here is I've got another joining plate here. Let me see if I can get this in focus. This is one I made up myself. And the reason why there's a tail inside is because of that right there. I've got the serial number recorded, the model number, the model name, the date manufactured, and the date modified, and my name. So I'm going to be taking this neck off, but I don't know when, but I thought I'd record this much anyway. I'm going to be replacing the stock Squier adjoining plate there, neck plate, with this guy right here. This is a titanium plate, by the way. Okay. In other words, here is the resting place for this adjoining plate. Right there. That's what she looks like. Very well, let me see if I can tell a story of these tuning machines, these tuners. These are stock ones right here. I took two of them out to see if the replacement ones, these guys right here, were going to fit, and they will fit. But I've got to drill 4 holes apiece, 16 holes in order to get those to fit in there. They look terrible right now because they're all greased up and exercised, like all the gurus on, the guitar gurus on YouTube was telling me to do that, so I did. And these two right here are the stock tuners. I have no idea what they are, but these ones right here are supposed to be 1970 replicas. Duplicates, if you will, of a 1970 tuning machine. What my biggest worry was right here is if these posts were going to fit in here, in the ferrule, but they do. So that's one thing I don't have to worry about. I just got to drill 4 holes apiece. That's all there's to it. Let me see if I can get this more in focus. Like I say, these are the stock ones right here. These are the replacement ones. Okay. One thing I wanted to mention before I forget about these tuners, these tuning machines. These are Fender branded tuners. They're not Hipshot or any of these other high-powered companies, but I got a pretty good deal on these. I got 4 of them for I think $65, so I just went that way. One other thing I want to say is that the gear ratio is 20-1. I know, I've counted it many times turning this around, exercising them and turning that worm gear and all that other stuff. So, but then you can see the holes right there. I got to re-drill 4 holes apiece there, 16 holes in order to complete this. And there's the ferrules down there, the bushings, they're stock bushings. I'm just going to leave them alone. They seem to work okay. I put these replacement Fender tuning pegs in there and everything was good. So that's all there is to that. When it comes to a project like this, I'm highly recommending the little micro rotary tool, something like this jobber right here that I got off of Amazon, $23, but this thing is, the service you get out of this is indispensable. Got a few bits there, for routing out holes and different things like that, and you got 16 real small little holes you got to drill in this headstock. So you don't need some great big monstrous drill to do that with. I just thought I'd throw this in here. I don't work for these people or nothing like that, but this name Hardell here, this is a nice little rotary tool. I wouldn't be able to do this project without that. It's just that simple. Before I start work on my SquierJazzBass today. I decided to do something here. I took an index card that you see right in front of you on my laptop here, and I jotted down the amount of screws and attachment points, if you will, that there are on this bass. Now watch this. They've got 16 screws that hold the tuner pegs in place. The truss rod's got one nut. I consider that an attachment point. The string tree, there's one screw that goes into that. The adjoining plate for the neck and body, there's 4 screws on that. The control plate has 3 attachment screws or points. The single coil pickups, there's a total of 8 screws there. The hip shot bridge has 5 screws holding it in place. The strap lock buttons, there's 2 each, or there's 2 of those. And the pick guard has a total of 10 screws all the way around holding that in place for a grand total of 50 pieces. I thought that was kind of interesting. Well, I'll give you a little shot here across my messy work area here. And I try to keep a clean workspace, but you know, sometimes the guy's grabbing tools and it just don't work out that way. Anyway, this is what I call a controlled mess, so I'm making progress. I'm taking it easy. I'm not getting in a big hurry. Haste makes waste, especially when it comes to working on these musical instruments. That's what I've got to say. Well, this is what kind of a scene I have here before soldering, before putting in the new pots, potentiometers, and the new control plate, and the new pickups and all that. I'm just in the process of tearing this down and studying everything to make sure that I get this wiring right. Actually, my tally of 50 screws or attachment points is a little bit wrong because I failed to realize I've got a screw right there, a grounding wire, and the bridge pickup, and then I've got a grounding wire right there in the neck pickup, so that'd make 52, but who's counting? Who's counting? Very well, this is the replacement bridge I'm putting in. This is a hip shot kick-ass bridge, excuse my language, but that's what this is called. I'm replacing this guy right here. This is a generic SquierFender bridge, if you will. But the grounding wire that goes on the back side of this bridge was all covered with lacquer. So I trimmed it up and splayed it out so I have a better contact when I mount that bridge right there. Okay. On this guitar here, I've discovered that the cavities have already been painted with that IR reflective paint, whatever that stuff is. I've read about it, but anyway, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and use copper tape, that IR tape, whatever that's called, and go ahead and finish these cavities out before I mount the pickups. After going to all the trouble of getting this doggone pickup seated in here right and bedded and everything, I ran into a bugaboo, and that's these mounting screws right here. The black ones are the replacement screws, but what's happening when you seat them down in there, they're a little bit too big and a little bit too long, so therefore the pickup isn't adjusting properly. So what I did is I just simply took them silver ones, which is the default screws, and put them back in here. Now everything's fine. So I just thought I would mention this in case anybody run into this problem. If these pickups aren't adjusting up and down for you, you might want to check your mounting screws. I might as well throw this little tidbit in here. Along with this shielding, I went ahead and invested in these Fender. This is supposed to be to help with interference on the pickups. And I just thought I'd throw this in there because if you do buy these little brass plates with the foam on it, you know, there's a cost to it. So a lot of people just throw in a chunk of foam, which is probably good enough. But that's what I decided to do on these here. So that's all there is to that. Well, I battled this project down to where I've got 5 wires, 5 joints to solder, or 5 connections, I should say. those wires that you see and you're staring at you. And other than that, I'm getting kind of towards the end of this project. I got the wires all what they call tinned. Back in my younger day, I was about 2 shades away from being a certified welder, so soldering ain't nothing to me. It's pretty easy. Okay, let me get on here and stop burning daylight. Well, I guess this is something to celebrate. Right there in the middle of your screen, right here, where my soldering iron is. Let me get this in focus. Right there is my last solder joint wired to that case, that potentiometer there. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you this. I highly recommend really small soldering irons for this kind of work because, well, it's micro welding, if you will, or soldering, like they say. But this is called a Easy Touch soldering iron. I can't remember what name it is, but you can get them on. I think I paid like $25 or something on Amazon for this guy, but it works pretty good though. It goes clear up to, what does that say, 420C, I think. But yeah, anyway, this is my last joint right there. Let me get to it. You know what I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen? Time for this old man to go to bed. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, this project is coming to an end here. I pretty much got this guitar all put together and the mods done to it and the parts put in it that I wanted. But of course, it's a far cry from being set up, you know. So I'll do that tomorrow because I'm burning midnight oil right now the way it is. And I don't think my wife would appreciate me, you know, firing this thing up and, you know, rattling the rafters, so to speak, and all that kind of stuff. So I'll get back to the grind tomorrow. Well, I'm very happy to report that I finished with the penny bass. And today's date is November the 13th of 2023. If you go back to the beginning of this video, I think I started on November 6th or 7th or whatever it was. It kind of looks like I've been building on this for a week, but that's not been the case. The reason being is because my pickups, my DiMarzio pickups were late getting to me by about a week. They got all hung up in the mail. Anyway, I kind of kept track of the actual hours of working on this bass and everything, and this build was around 30 hours. Now, for you younger folks, you could probably do it a lot faster than 30 hours, but I certainly hope I recorded everything well enough. But I wanted to say this. When I got up this morning, I kind of figured from yesterday's work I was done. Well, it slowly dawned on me that I was far from being done. I had to file the frets, which I've got that accomplished. I need to install a new set of strings, which I installed some Diodario nylon tape, 50 to 105s, tape wound strings, the nylon jobbers. I needed to shield my pickup guard and reinstall it, which I did. I needed to install a thumb rest, which I did. And then I needed to kind of clean up the guitar because I had fingerprints all over the doggone thing. And so really right now at this point in time, the only thing I've really got to do is final setup and tuning and all that stuff, but I'm just simply not going to put it in this video, and this video is going to be way long. But I guarantee you if there's something wrong with this build, if things don't pan out and everything, I'll be the first to admit it, you know. So that the main things that got changed on this build was the strings, those tape wound nylon Diodario strings, and a kick-ass hip shot bridge. That bridge seems to be very nice along with those strings. And then I got some DiMarzio Ultra Jazz Bass pickups. I changed out the stock ones, and then I changed out the stock potentiometers, and I put in some Golden Age pots from Stuart McDonald. So there you are with that. And then, of course, I did other things, too, which should have been depicted in this video. You know, what you see is what you get here. I'm not real good at recording running the camera and mechanic in it, at the same time. I've just never, I'm not very good at that. So my very last parting shot here will be, I'll give you a look at the guitar, and the way it sets right now, it is finished. So thank you very much for watching this video, and stay tuned. I'll let you look at the piece. Very well, here she is, the penny bass. Let me zoom up on this a little bit. Yeah, I've got kind of a nice decorative control panel there. Like I say, a hip shot bridge, DiMarzio pickups, pearloid white pick guard. I got some picks right there and a little holder. Going up the fretboard here. And right up at the top of this headstock, there's something kind of nifty. Right there. That's an Indian head penny. An authentic penny, honest to God. 1905. And then, of course, the tuners are Fender branded tuners. They're really nice tuners. And there's those tape wound nylon strings there. Yeah, a lot of work. At least I can say I did this. Maybe it'll cure my urge from wanting to trade off basses all the time. Okay, I think you get the idea here. The only thing left I got to do is just tune it up. Very well. Thank you very much for watching this video, and we shall see you on down the trail.